Hello everybody, welcome to the channel and the stream. I am Books Nelson from the At Me Bro Show, and right now we're about to go into a breakdown of Pink Diamond CJ McCollum. And for fans of this card, I have some pretty good news. This card has some sick animations. So let's get right into it. So first we will look at what he's bringing to the table. He is by no means a perfect card, but he can play point guard at 6'3", so his size is not a serious factor. So let's see what kind of defensive ratings he has to help him stand up to those other point guards. Now, obviously, if someone's running LeBron or Ben Simmons or Magic at you, this guy defensively, like most 6'3" point guards, is going to have some struggles with that situation. You might have to switch him to the 2 guard. As you see, that interior defense is absolutely anemic at a 46. And he has good lateral quickness, doing much better than Kobe White. The strength is a 70 though, so that's not the worst thing in the world. He might put up some resistance when it comes to defense. And let's see what defensive badges he has. He has gold clamps, he has gold pick dodger, which are both great, tireless defender, which is very good. And then pickpocket and off-ball pass are like solid, and you know, not the biggest deal in the world, and trapper is also not the biggest deal. But he's not a terrible defensive card. He should be maybe a little better than what the Steve Nash is looking like. So hopefully he performs a little better than that card defensively, but obviously you have to play the card to see. Now when it comes to the playmaking badges, Hall of Fame ankle breaker, Hall of Fame dimer, Hall of Fame floor general, Hall of Fame quick first step, Hall of Fame bandles for days, as well as bailout. So that is just ideal. And flashy passer, Lob City, needle threader. He's got just elite 2 guard badges. I would say this is a card you could definitely fall in love with as an offensive player. And as we see there with the shooting, he's got all of the great shooting badges, including quick draw and range extender, both on Hall of Fame. And he's also got slithery finisher to help him with the finishing in the paint and that Hall of Fame teardropper. So CJ is looking really good from a badge perspective. But we're not just here to look at the card, we are here to look at these animations. So first and foremost, you see the hot zones, excellent across the board. And his shot, really like elite jump shot. His shot feels absolutely fantastic. It's not just good, it feels good. A genuinely fun shot to use. All right, so let's look at his full court animations real quick. So he's got a nice crossover, a little hesitation. He has an elite between the legs. It speeds him up and moves him to the side. It's literally the best of all worlds. You see that between the legs just kind of slides him over, which means if you do a behind the back dribble, you can use that in the half court to get yourself open. And CJ being a shot creator, you should be able to get your hop steps off. He should be very good in the half court with that between the legs dribble. I don't think enough people put the emphasis on that. And he also has a really great behind the back. And again, this will, particularly in Triple Threat Online, give him access to the really cheesy, crazy stuff off the behind the back with that double, with the behind the back dribble, as well as the crossover behind the back, right? So you've got the momentum behind the back crossover. He's basically got it all. He can move real glitchy off the momentum in the full court. Basically elite in all of his animations, to be honest with you. And he's really fast. Like, the card really feels spry running around court. So let's get a look at his step back dribble. This is an excellent step back. This is basically a tie with the other step back, with the Jimmy Butler, Russell Westbrook step back. This one is just as good. The ball gets out of the way really quickly. It combos into itself everything you want out of a step back. And when you have him running around the perimeter, left trigger goes right into that step back. It's not quite as fast as some, but it's fast enough considering the way he protects the ball. And he can also do that step back off of the momentum real quick. And you see off the momentum, it combos real smooth. So it's not as good comboing off of your left stick hesitation, but it is just as good comboing off the momentum based combos. And really all of them, even the between the legs. And speaking of the between the legs, my man CJ can killer crossover. He has the killer crossover, which, I don't know, are they just handing this out to everybody, or is this just a coincidence? Because that is a really good look for CJ to have access to that deadly skill. Now, he's not quite as fast as Russ coming out of it. Like, Russ is really explosive coming out of it, but it's still a good move. And the fact that you can do that into his step back, and honestly you can double step back, and he has such great range. You can definitely hit that shot on the regular with CJ, and you can explode out of it. And speaking of exploding out of things, well, that sounds wrong, but we're going to keep it moving. You got the Pro 3 hesitation. He's real glitchy with it. Either way, let's go. both directions into the jumper. You know, this guy he basically has everything when it comes to elite animations. The one thing I'll say is his crossover, I mean his pro hesitation into his jumper, you have an early cancel window for those of you guys who are going to rely on that shot. So you want to do that nice and quick. Don't let it go too far. The animation will play out. He doesn't have as big of a cancel window as Dwayne Wade and Brandon Roy, but he's still, I mean, that's irrelevant, honestly. That's just an execution thing. In terms of effectiveness, he should be just as effective as those guys. I mean, nobody's as effective as Wade, but everybody not named Wade, he should be just as effective at doing the hesitation into the pull-up dribble there. So he's got that going for him. He's got the killer crossover going for him, and he also has this nice shooters behind the back where he kind of skips there. And what that's really good for is out of this between the legs, you can go right into that, like behind a screen. And that's really useful because you can do the behind the back dribble, the momentum behind the back, right? You can do that, let that go into the Sham God like that. And then you do it between the legs afterwards. And then you do that shooter's dribble. And you get a really nice side to side action. See if we can execute it here. There we go. You get a really nice side to side action behind the screen if you execute that combo properly. You see that? And he just kind of zigzags behind the screen. And during that whole combo, he can also explode out of that as well. You know, so he's got a lot of options. A lot of options. A really gorgeous card across the board. Let's look at his hesitation branches, which we didn't cover yet. So great hesitation behind the back. Quite honestly, I don't know if I've seen a card that has every elite dribble to the level that CJ has. And most cards have one or two things missing. But CJ, you see, he actually has a nice hop dunk for a guy who doesn't have the highest dunk rating in the world. And he has the behind-the-back teleport. So CJ McCollum is so elite in the animation category, I would definitely say he's up there as far as point guards go. The animations definitely put him over the top. I mean, when it comes to his offensive package, as a shooter and a shot creator and a distributor, he feels 10 out of 10, to be totally honest with you. He's got everything that I look for in a card. He's got the step back. He's got the, he's got the Pro 3 hesitation dribble to allow him to go both directions. You know, he's got a really quick shot, a really gorgeous shot as well. Easy greens. He's got the killer crossover. Obviously his momentum's going to be there. Momentum behind the back is going to be there as well. He's basically got everything. This is a fantastic card. Really, really, really great card offensively. Now, defensively and going to the basket, he's not going to be able to compete with the cards who are also excellent at those things. So I wouldn't put him in the same tier as a Westbrook as an overall card. However, he's so good at creating his shot, and he has such a gorgeous jumper. I could definitely see people who preferred to use CJ over Westbrook and were willing to take the weaknesses that CJ provides because of just how elite and excellent he is at the shooting. So, and just to touch on something real quick, I saw somebody on one of the forums saying, well, if you don't have the pro hesitation, you can just do the behind the back straight up into the jumper. And that is true. Unfortunately, the behind the back doesn't let you do anything else. It's a complete stop, right? So it's not a mix-up of any kind. That's why I focus on the hesitation so much. Yes, you can cancel this into a jump shot, and it does cancel straight up and down, and it does have its uses. So it is a pretty good move in and of itself, but it's universal. Everybody can do it, but you can't do anything out of it. So once you make the decision to do that, if the defender is closing out on you, you're completely stopped. Whereas when you're doing the Pro 3 hesitation dribble, not only do you have the ability to go into the jumper at the very fastest speed available, but you can also continue that into the same thing. It's an entire mix-up. It's not just about stopping into your jumper. It's about the ability to go the other way and go to the lane. It's about the ability to fake multiple times going the same direction and then pull up, and having that live dribble available to you. And with CJ, he can actually combo the Pro 3 into his step back. You see that? Pro 3 right into the step back. He basically carries the ball into a step back dribble, and he can explode out of that as well. My only criticism for him would be he's still quick, he still feels really good, but he's definitely not as fast as Westbrook. You can feel the difference in speed when he's exploding out of his moves. That's not a knock on the card. Not being as fast as Westbrook is not a criticism, it's just information for you guys. But other than that, he honestly has every elite ball handler shot creating trick in the book. The way CJ McCollum should be a great shot creator, he should be a phenomenal shot creator. All right, let's see how quickly he explodes out of the triple threat before we get out of here. Let's try that again. Give me the ball. Not super great exploding out of the triple threat. So moving around the three-point line and shooting in the mid-range, CJ McCollum is absolutely as good as it gets. He's like totally elite. When it comes to going to the basket, I would say he's effective, but he's not elite. But he does have the passing badges to help him out, and he also has that between the legs dribble, so that off of any drive you do, no matter what driving situation you're in, you can always turn that driving situation into a shooting situation with CJ, because you can use that between the legs dribble to guide you towards the outside of the paint. And well, yeah, outside of the paint to get you back into the mid-range, back to the three-point line. And he also still has the behind the back teleport as well, which is just really an embarrassment of riches. And that's totally deadly step back. This is the other step back that's used heavily in the park. Highly effective. All right, so that's an example. That's the what do you call it, killer crossover into the shooter's like dribble. Really effective. This guy just has a lot of beautiful, effective combos. This is one of those cards that if somebody is really good, they're going to give you the business with this card. And I would say if my lineup wasn't stacked, I would definitely be using CJ McCollum, because not only is he a really good card, but he's really fun to use. The card just feels extraordinarily good. All right, so if what I described here fits your needs, then by all means, I think CJ McCollum satisfies the needs for this kind of player. Again, while not a complete liability on defense, he's definitely going to have his defensive shortcomings. Going to the basket, he's got a lot of tools, but they're not straight line bang on people tools. That's not what you're going to be doing. You're going to be shooting floaters. You're going to be shooting, shot creator type step back shots, crazy stuff like that. You're going to be doing some wild stuff with him going to the basket. You're going to be more creative with CJ McCollum, but I do think he feeds into that creative play style. So before we get out of here, let's go ahead and look at his layups and his dunking animations. Hey, David Bogdansky, what bigs do I recommend using as the best option for stopping that LeBron? Shaq, Anthony Davis, Bill Russell. I have to double check on Hakeem's speed to see if he can do it. But that's why I call LeBron possibly the best card in the game, because he's such a mismatch that you have to really account for him. I still think Giannis might have something to say about being the best card in the game, but LeBron is definitely the biggest mismatch in the game. Whether or not that makes him the best card, I don't know. You see the gorgeous Euro step by CJ. This card is amazing. Oh man, it's going to be hard for me to sell this card back. The only thing is I'll probably make a profit off of him because I sniped him a little bit, and I might get this card later on when he's cheap, because this card feels so awesome to play with. All right, let's look at the rest of his dunks here. But yeah, those are the three I'd say. I'd say Anthony Davis, Shaquille O'Neal, and Bill Russell, because they have the speed to like move laterally. As you guys can see, CJ has these kind of rim grazer in-game dunks, which is not the worst thing in the world. But you'll notice he is dunking every time. I learned that from playing my career. 65 dunk rating is enough to usually dunk. Now, when his fatigue starts to get low, that's when he might stop dunking on you. But what you want to do is just throw a dunking shoe on him, and you should be good to go. But yeah, can't say enough good things about this CJ card. I'm pleasantly surprised. First of all, he can play point guard, so at 6'3", his height's not a problem because he doesn't have to play the 2. You can play him matchup dependent since he's a 1-2 instead of a 2-3. And offensively, he should be able to give the business to anybody because he's got the unstoppable weapon, the Pro 3 hesitation into a jump shot. The one thing I will say is his cancel window is a little earlier than everybody else's, so you have to do it pretty early. But I mean, again, that's not a negative. That's just a quirk of his execution. And while we're here, let's look what his left stick hezzy looks like. Nah, he doesn't have. He's almost like too fast for the left stick. Yeah, he doesn't do the left stick hezzy as well as Jimmy does. Not that he needs it because he has the Pro 3, but it's just worth checking. Yeah, that's a little slow, I would say. You want to definitely use that Pro 3 and just get used to the fast speed. It's good that he does it fast because that means he's definitely going to get that shot off no matter what. But yeah, this guy is a bucket. This guy's absolutely a walking bucket. What a fun card they put out. He's got tremendously great animations. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I will see you all in the next one, and peace.